Yo, Pete Hegseth is about to knock on my door, dude. Hi, Mark. How you feeling right now? It's 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning. How you feeling? You have a fun night? You feeling existential? You feel like the world is crashing down around you? I would never feel that way. I'm chilling. We're about to get we're about to do free healthcare for all, baby. In Greenland. Easy. Easy. Crazy times. I love crazy times. Nice. Okay. Oh, man. Okay. AOC and Jon Stewart. Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is my best friend. Grind never stops. The grind doesn't stop until the Gestapo knocks at the door. Then the grind has to stop. I don't think we have a choice at that point. If we're being honest. You know, that might be when the grind stops. If I had to pick one time for the grind to stop, you know. If I had to pick one time where the grind might stop, you know. That might be it. Perhaps. What's going on here? How about you do this? That's better. Oh, man. Who knows? I know. So, MAGA 20. Dude, that's so Trump sexual. Someone said a very Trump sexual comment in one of my streams. He said MAGA 20. MAGA, it's not MAGA 2020. It says MAGA 202 infinity. MAGA 22 infinity. That's crazy. MAGA 22 infinity. That'd be a good rap album for Tom McDonald. A good Tom McDonald rap name. Yeah, the deportations are very punitive. They're not targeted at violent crime. They're going in businesses and going after workers mostly. They got a couple U.S. citizens and military. That's my big concern when it started, is that they'd pick up citizens who are not even immigrants because they don't do proper vetting. They don't have any oversight, so they just like pick people up. That person looks like an immigrant, which is something Trump actually said. And once you say they look like an immigrant, it justifies you doing whatever to them. Why so late? I couldn't sleep. I'm not staying on here long. I came here to hang out. I came here for everyone that's up late. You know? Everyone that's up late at night. That's what I'm here for. I'm gonna work on some stuff real quick while watching this. Watching this beautiful video. Yeah, dude. I don't think Tulsi Gabbard. I don't think Tulsi Gabbard has a chance. So that's a silver lining. Is Tulsi's probably done. In some sense, I just can't see Tulsi getting through. I mean, it's possible. Someone might. I saw that someone might vote for RFK because they were like college roommates or something. Let's fix the permissions. Well, I have ODD. You just told me to do it. Now I can't do it. What if I was going to do it and my ODD kicked in when you said that and now I'm not going to do it? Like, you ever think about that? I know it's a problem. What a shame. What a shame to judge a life that you can change. Choir sing, the church bell rings. Yeah, Trump did a late night purge of the inspector generals. That's always a good sign. It's always a good sign. Always a good sign. I'm going to hang out, do some Discord updates, and watch Jon Stewart and AOC because I saw this on the news today. I saw the right wing was using a lot of clips from this. Fox News, a couple Twitter accounts. They were using some clips where they talk about corruption. And obviously, just like the original neo-Nazis, they co-opt socialist talking points or progressive talking points on the right say they're anti-corruption, while at the same time they're doing corruption. But I did see this interview being used by the far right a lot today.
It is
wow,
like
that's so crazy.
It's
crazy.
True. Really
Hey,
true.
everybody, welcome. I came out of my seat on that one. I was so excited to be.
Yeah, true. Trump did every promise. Inflation is at 0. Egg prices are only $10 now. I could probably get a dozen wings for cheaper than I can get a dozen eggs.
To be speaking with you. Welcome to the weekly show pod. We are recording this on the Tuesday following the inauguration of the 47th president of the United States, also the 45th president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump. Our guest today will be Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm excited to talk to her because shit is changing by the millisecond. Executive orders are flying. Oligarchs are tweeting.
They were handing Trump executive orders. Did you guys see that clip, by the way, where they hand him the executive order? He's like, oh, what is this one? Because he's like passing out and he's signing 50 papers. He has no idea what they say. Or like not even 50, like a couple hundred. What does this one say? Sir, this one takes the United States out of the World Health Organization. He's like, oh, okay. And signs it and he like throws it to the side. Like it's like nothing. Like, okay.
It's all happening. Everything that was done in this previous administration has been
repeated. The price of eggs won't change in 4 days. Well, they did change in 4 days. In fact, they like doubled. So, I mean, that's not true. The bird flu's a thing. If you care about, never mind. I thought you cared about facts, but I forgot we shifted in the cultural landscape right now. The conservatives are the emotion party.
The Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. Canada is now officially classified as our hat. I don't know what's changing. Everything. We're not in the climate accord. America has announced itself as we don't give a fuck. The mountains have different names. I don't even know what I'm looking at on a map. I feel like it's one of those, when you get one of those maps from like when England would just go in and just redraw like, okay, that country doesn't exist anymore. I'm just going to call that, I don't know, Lebanon. Why don't we do that? Here's Syria and draw a little line. And I don't know. It's going to take weeks to just parse just what the rules are. And any more about gravity is still in effect, I believe. Or did he executive order that as well? I don't.
Trump was in North Carolina today, and he was doing executive orders on things that are not even like legitimate executive orders. He was like, I'm going to sign an executive order to make California have water again. I'm going to do an executive order to make the buildings spawn back in North Carolina. I'm going to do an executive order to I'm going to ask Saudi Arabia to lower gas prices. I'm just going to ask people to do things. That's like Trump's big strategy. His master negotiations are yelling at people saying, please do this. And that's it.
I don't quite know. You're apparently now allowed to shit in the water. Like, I don't know. It's all a blur. Everything that we thought we knew about the infrastructure and what to call America's back, baby. We're back. Not just as a country and a family of nations, but as the nation. We win, you lose. Biatch. I don't know if that's whatever that translates to in Latin. That is.
I'm going to let this play then, but one more comment in chat saying we got shit done. We did not get anything done. I don't know how American culture got so messed up to where you think just like boasting and branding is getting things done. I don't know where hard work went in America. I don't know where any of that like actual value went in America to you guys. We got a lot of stuff done. You have no idea what we're talking about. You do not care about work. You care about just like flash. You care about logos and branding. You like it because you said, I hate wokeism.
That is the new.
You're a Trump sexual. You're a Trump sexual. That's my new term I'm using all the time. You're a Trump sexual. That's all you are.
Motto of the United States of America. And I'm excited to talk to a person today that I think provides a modicum of hope, a level of fight and of ideology that I think, boy, needs to be injected into this moribund party more than ever. So I am just going to jump on in and introduce our guest for today's podcast. All right, so we are going to get to our guests. We're very excited. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, welcome. You are the Congresswoman for New York's 14th District, the fighting 14th.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
700,000 strong, the Bronx and Queens. And I thank you so much for taking the time. How was your day yesterday? What did you do?
I kept my ass at home and
Inside.
inside.
Did you watch the proceedings, or
I
did you
did.
try and avoid everything?
I watched his speech, and I watched them not be able to turn on the music for Carrie Underwood.
I felt so bad for her. She was just standing there,
Yeah.
and they're like, "We're going to be the administration of competence. We're going to make everything work again, except the PA." That
Yeah, I was like, we are off to a great start here. But
By making everything work again, by the way, they mean censoring anybody that wants to like be a whistleblower. And if no one says anything's bad, and if they manipulate every report, if they manipulate all the data, then nothing's bad. They made it work again because they're gonna lie to us about everything.
I watched his remarks and leading up to it, and then I was out. I was like, all right, I've seen enough.
and nothing surprising. Was it strange to you? One thing that struck me was sort of this sense that the Bidens or the Democrats wanted to preserve this decorum. It was I have to say, it was such a surreal scene to see someone who had attempted what he had attempted at the Capitol be handed the reins of power, not just in a peaceful transfer, but one that seemed to want to honor the tea ceremony. And is there a middle ground between storming the Capitol and would you like oolong or throat coat? Like what are we doing?
I can't believe Biden said welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home, Donald.
I totally agree with it. But this is like a thing in the Democratic Party.
Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Parker Fried Chicken. I really appreciate that. Thank you for $10. I really appreciate that. We're just relaxing tonight, but I really appreciate the support for the stream. Drop a like, hit subscribe, relax. We're chilling, watching this conversation. Appreciate y'all joining me.
This is a thing, particularly with the
resistance.
Democratic establishment. It is this.
Hey, if you're rich, my Venmo is Joel Politics, and my Cash App and PayPal. Joel Politics. You want to dump something in there? I'll really appreciate it. I'm trying to get a full tank of gas tomorrow. You feel me? I'm just kidding.
I actually
donate enough money so I can get 1 dozen eggs. So that's around like $45, right? Under Trumpflation, dude.
I think it speaks a lot to some of the class differences and the class striation in the Democratic Party because, yesterday was also MLK Day.
Boy, did that get lost.
Yeah, yes, it did. And one of the things that MLK would talk about he would talk about, this tension between people who value order over valuing justice. And I think there is this really strong attachment to order and business as usual. And I think also a lot of Democrats see that as a contrast. Like they're like, see, we're not them. So we are going to ask you what, kind of tea you want, as opposed to calling it like it is, which I think sometimes is seen as a little more gauche.
And that is in many ways kind of how you made your bones. And I think you're right. Like even when you think about, and not to get into the weeds, but so you were on the oversight committee, and I thought did really great work there. I mean, good questioning, the kind of questioning that I think would get to the gist of an issue or would break it down in terms of what the dynamics were. And when you wanted to be the ranking member of the oversight committee, the Democrats decided to hand it to, and nothing against Representative Connolly, but he's 74 years old. And it's almost as if they were saying, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is really great at this, but he's 74.
Bro, also, every party leader being unable to speak in a good way, including, I can't stand the way, I'm sorry, big respect to Hakeem Jeffries, but the way he talks, I cannot help myself but bring it up every time. The decorum of our nation is at stake in this conversation right now, and we must stand up for the founding principles of this country. We need someone that sounds like a normal person talking, okay? Not like you're an extra on West Wing, or not like you're trying out for Broadway or whatever.
So there's nothing we can do. He's a 74-year-old man. He's first in line.
I mean, there are rules and structures and orders in the Democratic Party.
Right.
One that we know very well is seniority. And they, it's like, it's a seniority rule type of system. And it is true my run, it was a challenging of an entire system.
Mhm.
It wasn't just about me or about like any, again, I think Jerry's great, but it wasn't just about two individuals.
By the way, that was his campaign slogan.
Yeah.
I think Jerry's great.
Yeah. you know, but
Yeah,
but it was about challenging a system and a
right.
system of and a way of making decisions in the party. And the problem with that is that when you ask Democrats sometimes to challenge the way that they've been operating for decades.
Thank you so much for the $10, King Mork on Cash App. They said, "For we may be on opposite sides, but you need gas." Thank you. I appreciate it. I do have a free speech environment here. We have our own little system for keeping and maintaining free speech. So any side should be definitely donating and supporting the Joelitariat. You know, thank you for thank you for joining the Joelitariat. Thank you for $10 to Joel Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Also, I'm making a members only chat in Discord. So if you become a channel member, there will be a chat for only channel members. Because I know the regular chat in Discord is getting really testy recently. Thank you.
I mean, it's existential in some ways. Like if we don't make decisions like this, what could we possibly do? What would result?
That's amazing. And doesn't Trump's rise and the way that he's operating make farce of that?
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, he clowns them, that it doesn't look like a holding to protocol. It looks like submission. It doesn't in any way appear to be they're maintaining the thing about the party that is ineffectual, that doesn't do anything. Yet that's the thing they seem to cling to the most.
Yeah. And not only that, but the other thing that makes it dangerous is that it makes us remarkably predictable. It makes the Democratic Party highly predictable in the
Definitely.
decisions it's going to make, in
100%.
the people that we're going to select, in the type of people we advance, in the way that we make decisions.
Like right now, even Trump is predictable. We should be doing information inoculation, which is like a vaccination for information. You do it before disinformation is spread. And you can predict, okay, you can predict Trump's entire presidency. I predicted the Greenland stuff the night before it happened in a really big way. You know, you can predict what the storylines are going to be. You can predict the executive orders. We literally have Project 2025. You know, Trump's doing really unpopular stuff. We should have these ads ready to go. There's no excuse for the party not having the ads ready. They should be running now. All the big funders, all the big donors, they should be doing it now. Like it is 2026. This is the 2026 election happening right now. But I don't feel like Democrats, I mean, they might be waiting for the DNC chair to be picked. We have to see what the DNC chair is going to be. But they need to be ready, bro. They got to be ready.
And when we are highly predictable to the opposition, they will be 1, 2, 4 steps ahead. They know what Democrats are going to do.
You're talking on more on a procedural level, or do you mean also a kind of ideological level?
I think both. I think they know what we're going to do politically. They know, how we position ourselves, even within internal squabbles. When there's a progressive or whatever you may want to say about it, they kind of can map us out, and because of that, they're able to operate around that. They'll say, "Oh yeah, they're going to do that," or "They're not going to do that." No, there was never any question about who or who wouldn't show up to the inauguration, for example, or how they would be received. I think,
Right.
and they know that, and so they're able to. To your point, Trump is able to run roughshod through these things because he has a lot of the party's number in terms of how they're going to operate. And I think that sometimes making certain calculated but unpredictable choices is a way that we can.
I don't think Trump calculates that much. I think Democrats just act weak. They present as weak. And Trump, although he's an insecure little baby man, he presents as not even strong, but he presents as at least emotional. He just says no to things. He just calls people stupid. I don't know. He has a really special mind. He can say the dumbest possible things and get a pass for it. I really don't know. If you hear him talk, listen to him talk about literally anything. He sounds like a 7-year-old. He was asking today about why people can't go back in their homes to go clean out their homes in California. Like, why can't they just go back to the homes? And they were saying there's hazardous waste in the homes. So you can imagine what that might be. It could be fuel. It could be anything that might burn and have a chemical reaction. It can be literally anything from a fire. And Trump was asking the question, what does hazardous waste mean? Why can't they just go back? It's like, oh my God, bro.
Can gives ourselves the upper hand.
And it also, I think, in some ways, it reveals some of the Democrats posturing as performative.
Mm.
You know, when you're creating apocalyptic messaging about a fascist, who is
Literally.
literally coming over and doing these things, and then when he wins, sitting down with watercress sandwiches and cream cheese and doing the
Mhm.
whole 9 yards, it makes you wonder, well, did you believe any of the shit you were saying before?
Exactly.
Or was that something, again, that was just a part of your messaging?
Yeah, no, it's really true. And I think something that what makes this go around with Trump so much more dangerous than the first time around is exactly what you're saying. It's that he is much more normalized this time around than he was the first time.
CNN just said today that this is a different Trump. He's very popular now. People like what they see. Before he's even president for more than a couple days, going off polling from the month of January before he took office. So everyone's doing their job, you know, kissing the ring because they're afraid that he's going to have an authoritarian crackdown, which they're already doing. They're doing like a lot of fascistic elements, asking federal employees to tell on each other if there's any signs of DEI. Like that alone, like all the stuff. Oh my God, there's so many things happening. By the way, for the comments, Sprig, I think you're the only mod here right now. I'm just timing out for tonight. I want these trolls to come back for a call-in stream, but I'm going to time out since we're relaxing tonight. So I'm timing out for 30 minutes or 24 hours, whatever makes sense.
The first time people were really on edge, they were on guard, they were very vigilant about any break that he would have with these norms. This time, the norms are
DEI is fascistic. Okay, you should call in tomorrow. I will explain to you why Hitler said the exact same thing, okay? I'll tell you why Hitler said what you just said. And we could talk about, we could read Hitler quotes, we could read Trump quotes, we could read quotes about like egalitarianism, about supremacy, about just like general natural hierarchies that Hitler believed in. I want to explain to you why what you just said is really bad. But make sure you call in tomorrow. I'll stream at the same time. Well, not the same time, but like 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Make sure you stop by.
are becoming him. Like the norms are embracing him. Even these like little things that people may not, like everyday working people may not care about, but they are strong cultural signals. Oscar de la Renta, like dressing all of the women, like there's all these cultural symbols, right?
I see, participating now in this when they wouldn't have participated in the past.
Exactly,
I see what you're
exactly. So like all of these people that were scared before about like being associated with him from the most common basic level to the most elite level, they're all like they're all in now because this is now a billionaire feeding frenzy. It is a kiss ass race.
Man,
it is how can I show how much fealty I have to Donald Trump in order to get my digs. And I think what's really important for people to understand, and like now and every day of this administration, is that you're being ripped off. You're being ripped off. Dude.
Remember, the appropriate term, by the way, for these people is Trump sexual, okay? Trump sexual. You are a Trump sexual. We need to make sure that we give room for the Trump sexuals to join our DEI movement, okay? The Trump sexuals are a very, cast aside part of society that have been far too subjugated and oppressed for far too long. We have to identify them for what they are, and it's very true. You're a Trump sexual, okay? We have to make sure we keep saying that for the really silly people that are bowing down to him. Please, King Trump, please give me money. Please let me have your meme coin.
Like everyone is being ripped off, and he goes up there and he says what he wants to say, but he's just the quintessential New York con man.
I mean, for God's sakes,
true.
They launched meme coins.
He's a car salesman, bro.
Like I can remember in the first administration, somebody would intimate something, and the Democrats were screaming, "He violated the Hatch Act!"
Yeah.
And like everybody would go crazy, and then everybody have to look up the Hatch Act. And now these guys are literally just launching meme coins before the inauguration and piling up billions of dollars in wealth.
Yes,
it's kind of a.
Yeah, that's true, William. That's true, William. I'm black and you're talking about DEI. Okay. I mean, I'm pro diversity. I don't know what side you think I'm on, or I don't know what side you're on, but
Incredible transformation. But again, it feels like, let me ask you this, because maybe this is a different way of looking at it, because in some ways it reveals, maybe to the cynical mind, the way that you believe this shit always has worked
yes.
in the past. That the idea of, and I'll give you an example. The gentleman, Martin, who was running for Democratic National Committee chair, right?
Mhm.
So he comes out and he says, hey, man, we're not going to, we're going to take money from the good billionaires, not the bad billionaires. And if money corrupts, and this happened in a conversation I had with Congresswoman Pelosi as well. She said, money corrupts the process. I said, well, you raised $35 million. And, oh, no, that's it. We can't disarm. And I said, well, how does money corrupt the Democrats? And she said, well, it doesn't. It corrupts them. Money's bad for them, but for us, it's good money. And
But at that point, okay, if you're going to lose every media channel, if you're going to lose every social media, at that point, are you really disarming? If you're spending the money on terrible ad buys, if you're spending that money on no influence, if they're going to rule all the airways anyway, are you really losing out that much? Like, earned media is one reason Trump does so well. Get some earned media. AOC can do that. She has the intangibles. But Democrats are dumb, so they don't pass the baton or the torch over to people who are effective. Jasmine Crockett has been fantastic. A ton of earned media for free. Free media because she knows how to attack. She's entertaining. She got Nancy Mace about to pee herself. Like, Nancy Mace was threatening the fight. She was about to storm out. Did you see that Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace tried finding a man in the women's bathroom, quote unquote, and apparently they just saw someone in there that seemed too masculine to them, and there was no evidence of a man or a trans person in the bathroom, and they set false alarm. They caused the whole panic in Congress, because that's what they do when they do these kinds of things, including with immigration. They just look for enemies everywhere. They look for people to attack. They're insane.
And isn't it almost better for us to now have this arrangement be explicit?
Trump is not cutting cancer funding. He's putting a pause on all cancer research and cancer clinical trials that was funded by our programs. When he pauses all of our health agencies, that's what he does. I know you don't think there's any repercussions to what Trump does, but for those of us who are not rich, apparently you're rich, so you don't care that he's pausing all these agencies. But for those of us who are not rich, these are very valuable resources for our family members that are dealing with cancer. When there's federal investigation, or not investigations, but federal research and also clinical trials. I know you don't care because apparently you have a perfect life and I don't know, are you a Nepo baby? Are you rich? Are you just a dumb poor person? Because you have to look up what this stuff means. I love you, though. I do love you. I love all workers.
Listen.
Yeah.
And be out in the open so that we understand this is how the world fucking works. This is how it goes round.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, it will still be hidden, even if you make it explicit. Like these meme coins. People do not really understand, nor should they, frankly, in a lot of ways, crypto. But if, God forbid, your job requires you to understand this, one of the things about crypto, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of crypto is just scamming poor people and money laundering for wealthy people.
But doesn't that in some ways reflect the reality of our system in the first place? It's just a more grotesque, hyperbolic
I'm getting more radical on this, by the way. Someone said, yeah, putting billions into the coffers of Dem circles in the name of research. I'm getting more radical on this topic, where I'm like, bro, if you say something like that and you truly believe it, and you vote in a way that restricts funding from these things, I don't think when you go to the hospital, I do not think you should be able to benefit, honestly. Because if you're going to push against society that hard, to the point where you think medical research is going into Dem coffers or whatever, you probably should not, you should be denied treatment for those different things. If you're that radical against helping other people, if you're that radical against systems that help all of us, if you're going to vote for people that want to destroy everything that we've built as humans in general, why would you get the benefit of using these technologies? The people who are anti-vax, but they were begging for the COVID vaccine. They're begging for the COVID vaccine when they got in the ventilators. Why should we have to, as a society, if you're that radical, I still want to change you. I still want to help you. I still want to help you not be lied to by these corrupt oligarchs, okay? These corrupt media oligarch billionaires. I don't want them to lie to you, but still, why would we give resources to you when you don't even believe in them? Because you're going to believe in them when you need them. It's like God. You're gonna believe in them when you're dying, but right now you're gonna be like, oh, we have to cut it from the budget because Doge told me to. I trust Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. I don't trust scientists. When in reality, scientists and doctors don't even get the profits, dude. It's the corporate boards. We have issues with the for-profit healthcare system. We love healthcare and doctors and medical science. We don't love the for-profit part that corporations and CEOs and corporate boards get. But the doctors are not the ones getting the stock buybacks from Trump's tax bill that we have a problem with.
Of a system that's not working.
I think actually, like, when you look at how, for example, Putin has operated in Russia and the way they've been able to kind of take things over in these oligarchies, these kleptocracies, they prey on that exact logic, on that exact predicate, which is that everyone's corrupt and it's all corrupt. And so who gives a fuck? Sorry. Who gives
Yes. How dare you? At long
and
last, have you no decency?
and
That's why it works for them. AOC is about to say this too, but when Trump takes $50 billion out of a meme coin in one day, people just say, well, politics is always corrupt. And Nancy Pelosi made $200 billion in real estate and stocks in her entire career, so why do I care about Trump? So you don't see, because there's nuance in the rest of the system, you don't see the extreme corruption and extreme authoritarianism as a full takeover, because those guys have convinced you that the entire system is irredeemable and the entire system is the same level of corrupt. And Russia uses this and uses the doublethink to their benefit. I support Trump because he's anti-elite. Well, in reality, he is an elite. You love him because he's against the cultural issues that you don't like. But they always seize upon that. Really interesting how that works in every single authoritarian rise. But we don't teach history in America, so people don't know.
you might as well just get yours.
Right.
And the problem with that is that we just
Yep, there's a person right there. There's someone right there. Trump was already rich, bro. Trump was already rich. Imagine if you said that about Pelosi. Pelosi was already rich. Trump was already worth like $1 million. He was worth like $500 million. Now he's worth $50 billion. It's just like not serious. You don't have a serious opinion. You love daddy. You're a Trump sexual. You are a Trump sexual. You are a Trump sexual, okay? You are a Trump sexual. Wake up, look at yourself in the morning when you wake up, realize you are a Trump sexual, okay? We'll get you like your own little flag too.
entirely give up on a better world. Like that's the crux of it. It's to get good people to just give up and say, this is just how the world works now, and I might as well just throw up my hands. And the fact of the matter is, like, I know this is hard. Maybe this is something like I would say or whatever, but like, I think it actually is important to understand that there are good people and they're like, and we should be doing good things. And when we decide to make that the norm, and when we decide to uphold it and value it, and even regardless of party, yeah, like, don't vote for the people who are doing bad things, whether they're a Democrat or a Republican. When we decide to hold people to a higher standard, then things actually do get better.
Yeah, but that's the issue, is that people say they're anti-corruption, then they vote for Trump, who is more pro-corruption than any president in the last 150 years probably, maybe 100 years. I'm not sure about the Gilded Age, which Trump was to return to. And that alone shows that we don't teach history, because people don't know what the Gilded Age was, and we think we want part 2 with the Golden Age. Trump said we were more wealthy in 1890, by the way. He said we had better living standards in America in 1890, during one of our worst periods to ever exist as a human before, by the way. But yeah, you have to vote for the actual anti-corruption. I'm anti-corruption when Democrats do it. I'm anti-corruption when Republicans do it. But Democrats are still a lot better on that issue than Republicans. That doesn't mean you vote in the opposite direction of your interests, just because you're mad at pronouns, by the way.
But don't you have to know what you're up against? Don't you? You know, how do you fight an enemy that you haven't defined explicitly? And I'll give you even an example in a small thing, because I think this speaks to a larger, deeper issue that I think I want to get into with you, which is, you know, we all look at, oh, why did the Democrats fall flat?
And by the way, guys, I want to criticize Trump and Democrats, but you cannot do both. So how can I criticize Democrats when there's an overtly corrupt party that has Trump firing all of his investigator generals like at night? He purges any type of general or oversight or military. He wants to purge anyone who's not a loyalist. How do I even criticize Democrats when Trump is doing meme coins for $50 billion? If we agreed on being anti-corruption, by the way, we could definitely go forward on that. But you're a Trump sexual. And when you're a Trump sexual, your sexuality, like, it takes over your brain, because you're so, like, you know, enthralled with the image of this beautiful man that you're in love with, that Trump sexuality. So we can't talk about corruption on both sides, because you're so, like, Trump sexualized that you have issues really interpreting it correctly.
I want to get into with you, which is, you know, we all look at, oh, why did the Democrats fall flat? Was it, oh, Joe Biden got out too late, or Kamala Harris didn't have a time, or she, you know, whatever that was. But I think at its base level, it was a feeling that government is not being responsive to the discomfort of its people, right? which breeds a certain feeling that there's this disconnect. And so we have to be able to define why. And I would put this into kind of a unifying theme of governance, which is for the Democrats, oftentimes they're so analog. They're so tied to Robert's Rules of Order, and they haven't realized, like, oh, it's fucking UFC out there now.
Yep.
And we have to switch the way. But then you also have to define what that's going to mean for how you govern and what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Would that make sense?
I mean, I think so. Well, you're kind of preaching to the choir here, because
That's why I had you on.
I believe that we need to be a party of brawlers for the working class.
There you go.
And we have turned into a party that caters, and this is reflected in the electoral results. We have become a party of people who cater to like this weird, like almost people who call themselves upper middle class, but they're actually like kind of wealthy.
You're talking about me now, aren't you?
No, you're not middle class at all.
No,
See, her saying this right now, it's hard to really parse out these comments, and this is probably what the right wing used today. You need to be able to admit, like, when Kamala lost the lower class or whatever, or working class, it was not by a lot. It was by like 4 points, 5 points. It was by the same mark. Like, every demographic was pretty close. You need to look at the specific issues that you like lost on the merits, and also the issues that you lost on misinformation and disinformation. And when it comes to disinformation, you need a media network to combat that. When it comes to actual policies, you can talk about that, sure. But if people believe that there's gender surgeries happening at schools and your kid's going to come back trans, or if they believe that, like, if you walk outside an illegal alien is going to kill you, if people believe that, they're not going to vote for you. If they believe Trump wants to expand Social Security after he tried cutting it with every budget, they're going to vote for Trump. A lot of them will. You need to make sure people get that correct information. But Republicans will lie. Those flyers did go out that said Kamala wanted to cut Social Security, give it to illegal aliens, and tax it, and that Trump wanted to expand it. They just lied about that. They lied about that. And Democrats, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, did not call J.D. Vance or Trump out on any of their record. They were not prepared. I don't know if it's the consultants or what, but you're a trained politician. You're a lawyer. You've been, not Walz, but Harris, you've been here for a long time. You should have an idea of how to be good at politics. It's just so annoying.
I meant wealthy. That's what I meant.
But it's like this suburban like kind of thing, and we've been chasing this affluent group and making all of these little concessions and hoping that working people don't notice.
How does that manifest? If you could give us an example of what those concessions might look like. So how, in a practical way, when you're chasing a different group, because in my mind, look, one of the biggest issues in my mind is over the last 40 or 50 years, labor has been devalued and capital has been elevated. So investment and finance is king, and labor is in many ways devalued. So in what way have you seen those kinds of, moves made?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most kind of famous one that comes to mind is Kirsten Sinema doing her little curtsy when she voted down the $15 minimum wage. But it wasn't just her. Like, that was the most public expression of it. But there were a bunch of Democrats in the Senate behind her that also voted it down. And I mean, people are struggling so much right now. $15 an hour is nothing. This was a demand 10 years ago. To be honest, when you index it, it should be higher now. And it is nothing. And what people hear when there's all of these senators voting against it with all of these excuses of like, oh, well, how is it going to impact business? And first of all, these laws are very thoroughly, there's already dozens of compromises before you even get to the floor. It's not like it turns on the next day, like there's phasing periods, all this stuff.
And how do those compromises occur? Are those placed in because of who has the ear of the congressional people, the Senate and the House? This is the effect of big money and lobbying. Yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's really interesting. So you kind of mentioned this oversight race. So I didn't win the race. But one thing that did happen is that I've been assigned to a very powerful committee, the Energy and Commerce Committee.
Right.
And they're kind of known as one of 4 money committees in Congress.
They can do the appropriating, or they're just as a part of it, because it's not the appropriations, but it's
So the 4 committees are financial services, that's kind of governs Wall Street. We've got Ways and Means, which is taxes. You have appropriations, which is like government financing all these programs. And then you have energy and commerce. So basically all of the regulation of energy, of healthcare, of tech, of all of it goes through this committee. And I've served in several other committees before. The day that the news came out that I got assigned to Energy and Commerce, my staff's email boxes blew up with lobbyists, just tons of lobbyists, just flooding our emails.
Wow.
And it is literally because of this assignment that I got. And
like, hey, man, what's up?
like,
Like, what
hey,
kind of, was it like, hey, what's up, Congresswoman?
it's
Just
very
checking
like,
in.
it's very like, hello, fellow kids. Like, oh, I was at the Bernie rally, like back in the day. Like, I'd love to chat. And the thing is like, I am afforded, because I am supported by every.
The right wing would never say this about anyone on their side, by the way. It's one of the huge issues that is really hard to parse out, like I said. Like, they would never say anything about this. And this is another part Fox News ran with, to say, AOC is admitting the Democratic Party's corrupt. By the way, Donald Trump is also anti-corruption.
And the thing is like, I am afforded, because I am supported by everyday people. Like, the average donation to my campaign is like $17 or something
Right.
like that. I don't take a dime of lobbyist money, because I am afforded that independence, because everyday people support me. I don't have to, I'm under no pressure or obligation to take a single one of these meetings, not one. And I don't meet with lobbyists. It's just not really something that I do. And, if my constituents or if everyday people are organizing and coming to my door, I'll open it. If I have policy questions, like I will go and find the answers that I need for certain things, but I don't make these kinds of decisions. But these compromises that you mentioned, how they happen along the way, it is important for people to understand how Congress is structured. Like, every bill that gets proposed gets assigned to a committee. That committee has a chair. That chair is the head honcho.
And especially in the House, it's all or nothing. I mean, like, even if you have a 1-seat majority, you control all the business that goes through that committee.
That's right. And people don't really know that. But if you have, two, like, for example, this majority right now, especially because Trump is appointing some people, there's only 2 more Republicans or so right now in the House than there are Democrats. But if you just have 1 more or 2 more, you gain control of all the House committees. You decide what legislation gets voted on.
A lot of progressives are
you do all of it.
Who gets
a
in?
lot of progressives are kind of anti talking about actual political power, because many of them are turned off from the process. But you have to also realize it's right wing propaganda for you to not vote. For you to not vote. If you don't vote, you're helping the far right. You're helping fascism. If you don't vote Democrat, or you don't vote like whatever the pro democracy is in that party, you're voting fascism. You're voting authoritarianism. You cannot vote third party or not vote at all in elections like these and consider yourself a progressive. You're not a progressive. You're more so emotional. I'm sorry if you did not vote, but it's just how it is. If you did not vote Kamala versus Trump and you had the option to, it just... Thank you for the $2 goofballs. Thank you. Crazy name. I know that was not a good donation, but I'll take the $2.
You decide what legislation gets voted on. You do all of it.
Who gets investigated? Who's allowed to call witnesses? What those witnesses are? I mean, you control the entire operation.
Yeah. And the minority party just has to basically sit there for 2 years, and maybe you can rename a post office if a Republican's going to throw you a bone. But
all right,
it's pretty limited.
Shitty.
That's how those compromises happen, because you need to win that vote. Like, I think about back when Biden was trying to do Build Back Better, and we had these we had this massive prescription drug pricing provision in there that was going to make so many prescriptions more affordable for people. And there was 1 Democrat, and that bill went through Energy and Commerce. There was 1 Democrat, maybe 2, very beholden to industry. It lost by 1 vote, or it lost by 1 or 2 votes in that committee. And so that's how all of these things get slowly chipped away because of that process. And that's why one of the things that we say is yes, voting for Democratic majorities is important, but it's really about the kind of Democrat that you're sending. And one of the things I've learned a lot in the House is there's so many frustrations, understandably, but also, the popularity of Congress is super low, but a lot of people actually like their individual member of Congress. And that's part of the story that we have here too, because a lot of people are just very, they're very beholden to a set of incentives that are not always just the people who voted for them.
By the way, I edited the members only chats in Discord. If anyone's a channel member, by the way, become one for $3 a month. Please become a channel member for $3 a month. But there should be a members only channel in Discord now. You can go see if it works for me if you really want to. If you're a mod, you obviously have access to it, but I did make it accessible to channel members. $3 a month. Thank you for your support on YouTube. You have to tie your YouTube to your Discord as well, and it should turn on, or should work.
Right. And the people who voted for them rarely get the access. You know, I thought it was a stark moment at the inauguration yesterday. Amy Klobuchar was up, and, you know, she gave that first speech, and it began with this sort of ode to the working man. Oh, the working man, the construction workers who built this city, the railroad engineers who get, you know, and it was this large ode to the working man. Not one of them in the room.
Literally.
Not even allowed in.
And you've got like,
See, that would have been a crazy moment, bro.
Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos.
Bro, if Amy Klobuchar, bro, if anyone with any type of guts at all would have been like, we can talk about the working person in America, but behind me, as you can see, Donald Trump has invited the entire oligarchy, the entire ruling class, your owners. They own you. They own you. And that should change. But for right now, we are handing off the reins to this group. When they fail you, we will be there. We're going to stand strong against this. But they can't even say that. So, I mean, they cannot say that even for political reasons. So it's whatever. They just want to keep on talking. We talk about the institutions and the importance of following the guidelines of our founding fathers' principles and what we said in the legality of law.
And
Right.
TikTok CEO right behind you. Yeah, no, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
But it makes it seem like a performance. This is why I think people lose that faith. And I think that ultimately this idea that, well, you know, people just need to have better unions, and they do, like, why is it incumbent upon working people? You know, maybe this is a shift, and maybe this is an interesting way to kind of talk about where do the Democrats go ideologically, right?
Oh yeah, grocery prices are going to go crazy, bro, especially with immigration being an issue right now. All the deportations, workers being scared, them just going attacking businesses in general. Hardworking people in our country, they want to attack and dehumanize and raid because they don't care about violent crime. They care about dehumanizing and raiding them. Yeah, grocery prices are going to keep going up, and egg prices are too, because Trump's going to deny the bird flu's a thing. But I want to see how long my my Trump sexual friends, I want to see how long my Trump sexual friends can hold on before they admit something's wrong, okay? Because I saw someone buying $10 eggs today, and they did not comment at all, and I know them, okay? They're buying $10 eggs, and they're okay with it, because they trust Trump. But how long will it take? How many egg prices or grocery prices need to go up before their Trump sexuality lessens, you know?
Because this fire hose of kind of oligarchs isn't going to be ending. And it seems like unionization, while a really powerful tool, is a slow moving one, and certainly one that's been eroded, is maybe the new economic theory, a way to tap into that fire hose. That money is built by labor, but labor does not participate like a shareholder. Is there a way, and this is obviously beyond my pay grade, but to start shifting the conversation beyond like, hey man, just give us a minimum wage raise, and start think about the ways that these CEOs and these oligarchs are remunerated, right? It's bonuses, it's stock buybacks, so how do we get labor to not just live on the crumbs that they are afforded, but to participate in that fire hose, that $50 trillion growth in wealth over the.
Well, be careful, because that's their argument for retirement accounts being tied to the stock market, is that you know, everyone rises if the stock market goes up. So how do you tie it in a way that's going to be real, very real? Is it tax rebates? Is it like a negative income tax on top of the pre-existing welfare state? Is it some other stimulus? Is it a chance for, I don't know, is it trust busting? You'd have to tie something stronger to that, because, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. The narratives and messaging matters the most, because people just vote against whoever's in charge when they're mad. So how do you get those people that are mad at the current administration? And also, how do you build enough with organizers and also swing voters who take your economic message as something very real and bold, something that you care about? because you can argue very strongly that Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, they have crossover appeal, not because they're anywhere similar. Bernie Sanders is anti-corruption, never took $1 in his life from a donor at all. He made some money off a book deal, that was it. He's an actual true, like, fundamentally principled politician who worked real jobs, came from a working class family. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is the opposite. Pro-corruption, pro-big business, fake reality TV show star, all about the glitz, the glamour, materialism, never had a real family structure. He just jumped from girl to girl. He cheated on his wife with a porn star when she was pregnant. Like, it's the complete opposite. But people had crossover appeal because Trump and Bernie both sounded mad, okay? And people want to be mad right now at something. So you'd rather lead people to that left-wing populism, sort of. Trump's a real, like, authoritarian populist, but Bernie's like a reformist that uses populist messaging. But you want to have people go to left populism and good reforms rather than do what they're doing now. But the Democratic Party really shut down Bernie Sanders, which was a big mistake. Big mistake. I'm not sure for who, but definitely for the country. Imagine if Bernie would have ran against Trump, bro. Bernie would have killed Trump so bad in 2016 or 2020. Like, oh my God.
These last 4 years.
I mean, there are tons of structural things that we can do. And there are lots and lots of ways to get a bite at that apple. I think kind of the knot that we have to untie is how do we build the power to actually implement those things? Like when it comes to labor getting that share, that's not a hard problem to solve. There are everything from kind of Elizabeth Warren and a lot of other folks saying labor should have board seats in corporations.
Well, when we talk about Elizabeth Warren, remember MAGA calls her a crazy, feminist, dumb B-word who wants to steal our money through her socialist policies. So if Americans have that perception, you need someone to fight for these messages in a way that can relate to someone who's really mad at these really dumb issues. And Elizabeth Warren also has that like college professor style to her, which also does not appeal. So how do you get that message through in a way that appeals really well? Because these policies would, if people voted on policies that would help them, we'd live in a completely different country. But they vote on emotions and anger and fear. That's why Trump won. So how do you lead them there? Especially when all media is owned by right-wing corporatists, cronyists, oligarchs, ruling class, whatever you want to call them.
Operations. To even more lefty, even, I mean, it's all lefty, but even like other things.
But why is it like even when it's called lefty, like in the rest of the world, it's like center right.
It's normal.
Like it's normal. It's the idea, when we talk about, how about everybody like can go to a doctor and you're like, what are you, a communist? And you're like, no, that's the whole world does that.
Well, that's
except
the thing.
us.
Our country is remarkably propagandized. Like we are remarkably propagandized.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm talking about. A lot of working class people voted for Donald Trump.
Sure. I mean, he gained a tremendous amount in that area.
He gained a tremendous amount in that area. They voted for him despite the fact that he has a Supreme Court that guts labor rights, that they are overwhelmingly opposed to raising a minimum wage, that they are really, that they're gutting the civil rights around working people and organizing, let alone women and voting rights and for Black folks and immigrants. Like, put all of that aside, just on a working class level. We have elected the foxes for the hen house to run the hen house. And so that is like something that we're going to have to confront, because what Zuckerberg and Bezos and all these people sitting behind them, they don't just represent billionaires. They represent all of the communication platforms that people use in the United States. So the TikTok CEO is saying, we work for Trump. Meta, Instagram, and Facebook CEO is saying, we work for Trump. Of course, you've got Elon with his fucking like jumping around on a stage. All of them are saying we
gave away $1 million to individuals in Pennsylvania
which is.
People love those reality TV shows, bro. People love Survivor. People love the Beast Games. Americans are built on reality TV. They're built on the fantasy idea of being a millionaire someday. They love gambling. Like that appeals to people, bro.
It's like not legal, but
right. But isn't that the point?
Everything's legal now, bro. Everything's legal. They own the system. Everything's legal. Who's gonna arrest Elon Musk if he does something bad? Who's gonna arrest him? He could pay them off. They work for Trump. They work for all the oligarchs. Who's gonna arrest anybody if they do corruption? There's no choice for the left or Democrats but to go aggressively anti-corruption. Even if, by the way, they take money from like a billionaire who's worth $1 billion, they can still have this message. You know, if they have a billionaire come and say like, tax me at 60%, tax me at something crazy, have billionaires say that, that person, that one billionaire, compared to Elon Musk, is now, like, Elon Musk is worth $450 billion. Like, even someone who's worth $1 billion is no longer in the control seat of society anymore. That person is considered a small fry in today's world.
Point though, they would rather ask for forgiveness than permission. And isn't a lot of this based on, you know, we say it's the foxes now guarding the henhouse, but isn't it the people in the henhouse going, where are my eggs?
Yeah.
You promised me eggs, and you guys haven't delivered. Now, you did something really interesting, I thought, after the election. And this is, I think, why I think the right gives you respect, and also I think is a little trepidatious about you, in that you kind of understand these new media platforms, and you went on one of them, and it was either TikTok or Instagram or one, after the election, because you outperformed the Democrats in your district. And there were people that voted for you and voted for Trump, and you wanted to know why. And in doing,
they voted Trump because they want peace in the world? No, they voted Trump because they're propagandized. Maybe they do, but they're propagandized. Trump created conflict. Trump added to conflict. But everyone was taught to say, Trump had no wars. Trump had no wars. That was not true. By the way we understand conflict in general, 4 times more troops died under Trump than did Biden. You know, Trump right now is talking about invading Mexico with our military, threatening Greenland and Panama with military action, talking about pulling out of Taiwan and Ukraine completely with any support at all, and then starting more wars over oil. Like, Trump is talking right now about causing more conflict. He's been talking about that. Anyone who thought he was anti-war just bought into the slogans, like a little, you know, you're a wind-up doll, just repeating the same talking points.
Doing that, you know, what came back to you? Was it anything?
Trump wants to shut down our solar and wind energy, while China is becoming the global leader in those sectors. And people love solar. Solar is making huge advancements. In Texas right now, solar is competitive with a lot of different energy sources. The fact Trump wants to like ban solar is insane. It's absolutely insane. It's not insane. It's stupid. It's dumb and stupid to the point where it feels like it's intentionally harmful to the country. It feels like it's intentional harm on the country at that point, because he gets paid off by big oil companies.
Revelatory or illuminating about the process by which their frustration with people that are speaking the language.
You do know Trump killed ISIS? Brother, you realize Trump helped release 5,000 Taliban fighters before the Afghanistan pullout, which is one reason it went like it did. Because Trump released more terrorists than he ever got rid of. Like, you do know that, right? About the world. Like, you have heard that. Do you know what the Doha agreements are? I doubt you do, but look it up. Google it. It might do you some good.
Language of their struggle, but not delivering on their struggle, led them to, well, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just cut through all the red tape and go with a more.
Trump has not done anything except sign bullshit executive orders. He has not done any work at all. He put his name on papers he didn't even, like, read. He was asking, again, they put it on the desk. What is this one for? Oh, sir, that's to leave the World Health Organization. Oh, okay. Throws it to the side. What is that one for? Oh, this is to like cut Social Security. Oh, okay. Sign. Like he did not do anything. You're buying into the propaganda. I'm scared to see your car payment, because I could probably sell you a 2004 Jeep Cherokee for $20,000 at 45% APR. Because you seem to be so gullible. I can market anything to you if I say it the right way.
Executive version of all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of things. One is that, especially for people who voted for Trump and voted for me, they see 2 people that are fundamentally anti-establishment, 2 people that do not respect a rule if the rule does not lead to an outcome, like a positive outcome. And one of the things that I really kind of sit with is the level to which also people believe in I think a shift that we've seen is that people want to hear directly from a politician. And importantly, and this is also, you know, dicey territory, I think, they will
having a president,
what the politician says from themselves, right?
Yeah, they'll believe anything the politician says.
If they hear it from you.
If they hear it from me, and the same thing, like if they hear it from Trump. Like Trump
Trump has cameras in the White House. That's smart. Recording himself doing executive orders. That's why it was so damaging, by the way. That's why Biden, that's the real reason. That's the real reason why Biden left so unpopular. It's because he couldn't speak coherently for the final 2 years of his presidency. So he could not advocate for himself effectively at all, which is the number one issue in politics. Old Biden would have done great, but new Biden could not talk about the policies he got done. All the policies Biden did, they're probably going to give Trump credit for. It's so sad.
Went around. I don't think people, understandably, like if you don't like Trump, you probably didn't listen to him on the campaign trail. But this was a very different Trump that was on the campaign trail. And if you roll back his election night speech and his victory speech, when he talks about immigration, for example, my district is like 60% immigrant families. And so when you hear him, he was very clear on the campaign trail saying, we're only going to go after the criminals and we're not going to go after people who came here the right way. And he is lying through his teeth, but that is what he is saying. And so people believe it. It's the same thing with the Project 2025 stuff. When he was like, that's not me.
Right.
We're not going to do that. People will say, he said it's not him. He said he's only going to go after the quote unquote criminals, which like they believe everyone who
that's why
came here who is undocumented is a criminal. Like
true. But that's why Kamala Harris and Tim Walz had to be ready, because you hear it from them. Like, you don't want the moderator doing the fact checking. You really don't, okay? But the issue is, okay, people will trust it more if it comes from the person themselves. So the moderator stepping in erodes trust in this era, especially if you cannot come off genuine as the candidate. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, if I know the responses that can be popular, if I know the fact checks, they should know it, okay? You're running for president. Pretty big deal. There's no reason I should be more equipped. Small YouTuber. There's no reason I should have been more equipped than Kamala Harris for her debate.
And not only that, but on paper, they say they want to deport 20 million people. There's only 14 million undocumented people in the United States. So
no one knows those facts, bro. Donald Trump said he left office in March of 2020 and said he left with all-time low immigration numbers when it just wasn't true. Like, people just don't fact check. People don't think for themselves. It's sad.
Deport 20 million people.
Brother.
There's only 14 million undocumented people in the United States. So they're going to have to...
Where'd you get that number from? The liberals? Did the liberal colleges tell you that number, AOC? Because Trump told me a different number.
Proactively strip status from 6 million people who are here legally and in a legal fashion in order to meet that number. And so, like, this is actually where I think the collapse of journalism, which again, Bezos runs the Post. You've got they have the newspapers too.
The guy from the LA Times was like, hey man, what do you guys want us to put in the paper?
Yeah. LA Times is a billionaire publication. Washington Post was a billionaire publication. New York Times is like taking L's left and right. Like, you have Elon doing a Nazi salute yesterday and they're like, he did this curious, that was, controversial, flagellation. Like, What are you people doing? What utility do you have right now? And it's all of this stuff that is meshing together. And so, but the point is like, this is not all doom and gloom. I think that it highlights ways that we can fight back. And one of the things that we need to do is to talk to people directly. Also, guess what? There need to be Democrats who walk the walk and talk the talk. There is an insane amount of hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy is what gets exploited to use the cynicism. And wherever there's a hypocritical window, for example, I think one of the most biggest examples of this is insider trading in Congress. Like,
dude,
this is the conversation the right wing used from this podcast. They showed it on Fox News. They showed it on Twitter, all the dumb right wing accounts, because they said AOC is admitting to insider trading. She's saying Democrats are hypocrites. But we're saying that Trump is 50 million times worse, but we're saying that the right wing will lie about literally everything. So therefore, that politician that they lie about needs to be so genuine and so clear cut and so opposed to corruption that their lies don't work. So AOC is advocating for someone who is truly fighting, who is truly clean from dirty money in politics. Someone like a Bernie Sanders, who could have probably cut through with the propaganda, at least enough to win. Someone like AOC, she's saying you need someone who's perfect, or close to that, or at least virtuous in those senses, so that when they make those accusations towards you, it looks stupid. on its head. It just looks dumb to even say that about you. Meanwhile, the billionaire on the other side with all the oligarchs is your opposition. But the right wing took this clip out of context, proving the point that they lie about all the time. Again, they lie about being anti-corruption. They lie about populism. They lie about caring about working people. They lie about what other people say. The right wing used this clip in general as a negative for AOC and for Democrats. But the AOC side, the Democrats in general, AOC side is the only one making like actual media pushes. The Democrats need a media system. The Democrats need a system to fire back at the propaganda from the other side, or we're not going to win. We're not going to win. The propaganda is always the strongest thing that fascists and authoritarians have. We need to be ready for it. There's no reason to not be ready for it. We have history books, bro.
I don't know if
Like literally, the woke ideology, you can replace that with a Jewish question from Germany. You can literally just do it one for one. We need to go scan these hallways for DEI, signs of DEI or wokeism. The woke ideology is overtaking America. The woke ideology is corrupting America. Meanwhile, the same time we're complaining about the woke ideology or the Jewish ideology, the Jewish corruption is taking over America. Meanwhile, the ultra rich are still getting richer. We're just picking what groups to attack on our way to getting richer. Because your issue was not the elites. Your issue was the cultural elites, the perceived cultural elites. You can one for one swap Jewish and wokeism. That is the scapegoat of this time, of this authoritarian movement. That's the woke. That's the point of the wokeism. That's why they repeat it so much. It's the new Jewish question.
Do I give snaps? I don't know what the kids do anymore, but like, dude. Yes.
It is
wow,
like,
that's so crazy.
It's so crazy. It's crazy. I mean, like and this is the thing. It's like people think that everyday people are stupid. I'm like, do you all really think that people don't see this shit? Like,
they sit on a committee, they get information about a drug or a contract or a thing. They immediately make a call. The stockbroker changes things and their portfolio swells.
Explodes. It explodes.
What are we doing?
And you're doing this on public trust.
Right.
On like taxpayer finance.
I'm sorry I read the history books, but when like J.D. Vance goes out there today and he says, professors are the enemy, doctors are the enemy, scientists are the enemy, wokeism is the enemy. That is word for word. And Trump literally quoted Hitler with the poisoning the blood of America thing. Like those are all direct fascist quotes. Mussolini, Hitler, and not even just fascism. It's authoritarianism in general, because Stalin also was against academia. Stalin was anti-church because they were educated and they pushed back against the oppressive regime. So left-wing and right-wing communism, or not communism, but authoritarianism, left-wing and right-wing authoritarianism all share these characteristics and talking points. They all need the scapegoat because they have nothing else to stand on.
Public, facilities. Like it, of course.
So now they're attacking workers, okay, hardworking people, and accidentally detaining military vets who are U.S. citizens because they're so hell-bent on getting rid of whatever the immigrant problem is, when in reality, they're going through cities right now. When the biggest issues with any violent immigration is probably going to be located, like, it's spread out. The fact they're focusing blue states first is insane. But they are scaring away a lot of labor from the South, so you might see that in your grocery prices.
You're regulating the market that you're trading on.
Exactly. And
you
like
run the casino.
And then we're supposed to act like money only corrupts Republicans? Give me a fucking break.
We're lucky we're not in the same room because I think we might have high-fived. I really think we may have disturbingly high-fived in that moment.
Honestly, at this point, though, I'm kind of for this. I'm kind of for this at this point, bro. Because I know too many Democrats who still worship like Pelosi and Schumer and all these people who are just like holding up progression and making it harder for us to fight this fight. I'm almost okay with just going against them. I feel like it would help us electorally because they're not helping us. They're not. Their seats are not changing. Okay, their seats aren't changing. They're probably going to be gone soon in multiple ways. Like, I think I'm for this, honestly. I think we're at the point where it's pragmatic to go against the party leadership because they're not in power. Like Hakeem Jeffries can keep doing his like Oscar speeches, but like.
And I think sometimes what my colleagues and like, other people in the party don't understand is that the insider trading that happens in Congress, it explodes the cynicism that fuels the right. It doesn't benefit us. It benefits Republicans. Because they make no bones about the fact that they are here, about what class they are here to serve. In fact, Republicans are far more honest in this respect sometimes.
They make it a benefit. They make people love billionaires. They make people say like, oh, Elon Musk is just like a god emperor. He's so skilled. He deserves to be a leader of our society. That's the argument Republicans make. And it's inherently tied to supremacy as well. The God King, this person is just like superior. He deserves to be in charge. Aristocracy, like we are going to have all the best people leading, and democracy is futile because we have the best leaders already in place, and the billionaires make money because they're better than you and all that kind of stuff. There's inherent power hierarchies there. So the right wing is more honest about this, but also they do a lot of doublethink, which is very normal. And what AOC is saying here essentially is if you have any corruption, you're leaving the door open. You're making the job easier for the right wing. Okay. If you use super social justice topics and you're super hardlined on it, if you, force everyone to announce their pronouns in every conversation, which I am pro pronouns, but every conversation, you are hurting the movement. If you have any corruption at all, you're hurting the movement. If you have any public wine parties or whatever for your campaign, you're hurting the movement. You're hurting it. And you're giving the authoritarians on the other side more ammunition to come after us.
Sometimes, which is that they're here to serve the billionaire class and they make decisions.
We both inside trade, but it's all the right's fault. The right wing is just far more corrupt than Democrats, okay? You can look at which party is pro-union, okay? Which party is pro-monopoly busting? Which party is pro-raising money on the rich? Which party is pro-regulating big banks? Which party is pro all of these things that the ultra-rich hate? And there is some money influence in the Democratic Party, but it's not nearly as far as it is in the Republican Party. They both, okay, have too much money in them. But like I said before, if you can't realize how Donald Trump is the worst of all time on this issue, then there's no conversation we can possibly have. Because I'm not going to talk about Nancy Pelosi's entire career making like $200 million when Trump just made $50 billion, a billion, leveraging the presidency a couple days ago. Naked corruption, out in the open, and you don't care. How am I supposed to even reason with you? How can I reason with you? You look silly. You're a Trump sexual. I forgot to use that word more. Trump sexual. I gotta remember that. I'm going to make a Trump sexual emote as well.
Very publicly to serve that billionaire class.
Oh, but they're performing a populist dance in a lot of ways. But doesn't it though, and this is the thing where it kind of gets tricky because what the right's diagnosis is in many ways correct. What Trump is saying is the system is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's what we're saying, which is, it's rigged. Now,
Yeah, okay, and also with fascist movements, again, Hitler called himself a national socialist. They were nationalists, but they added socialist to be more appealing. They spoke about workers' power, but it was formed around a different kind of workers' power. It was about racial hegemony. It was about a society based on hierarchies and based on supremacy. It was using socialist language to get power in the system, and once they got power, they expelled all the socialists. So right now, Josh Hawley and Charlie Kirk talking about banning stock trading. They do not believe that, but they are stealing populist rhetoric that's anti-elite to get more power in the system and goodwill in the system. They don't believe it. They never did believe it, but they're using that. They're co-opting the optics of it in order to get more power. That's what they want, is more power. And that's one reason they could do it, is by saying popular things. And their voters don't hold them accountable when they lie, so it doesn't matter. And don't even compare Democrats. We literally kicked Joe Biden out because he was too old. Okay, we kicked Joe Biden out before the election. Democrats if there's a sexual assault allegation with this much proof as Hegseth and Trump, Democrats get them kicked out of Congress, by the way. Look up, what's his name? The comedian from Minnesota. Wait, what was his name again? Al Franken? Yeah, look up Al Franken alone. Like, they got him out, like, instantly. Again, there's issues to fix on both sides, but you can't both sides issues where one side is far worse. You can say one person punched you, sure. One person did violence, one person punched you. But if one person punched you and one person shot you, I can still say the person that shot you is worse. And I can still say the person that punched you is wrong too, but the person on the other side still shot you versus a punch.
I don't believe his remedy is correct. I don't believe he's honest about where he's unrigging it. I think he's not draining the swamp. He's co-opting it. He wants the deed to the swamp so that he can continue to funnel. I mean, that
kicked out last second on
meme
purpose.
coin being just
sure.
the tip of the iceberg there. But isn't that what is driving them, is that sense that, and they are,
But there is no both sides, Sterlo. That's the issue. There is no both sides. There is no Republican that wants to ban stock trading in Congress. Josh Hawley might do it maybe for populist appeal so he could run in 2028, but they don't want to actually do any of the things they talk about that are pro-worker. They do not want to do those things. They are so against it. It's painful how against it they are. Like you're saying both sides need to come together. I agree that both sides of like the citizen population need to come together on the Constitution, on liberties, on civil rights, and on working power, sure, but people are not doing that. They're being divided on social lines and cultural lines only.
I think not wrong. The system is rigged.
Wait. If we're talking about money spent, can we discuss how Obama spent more than every president before and after him combined? There's no way you're a real person who believes that. You're not a real person. Oh no, you are a real person. I saw your channel. Brother, stay away from schools. Jesus. Oh my goodness.
Rigged.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's completely rigged. And the frustrations at that are why working people want to elect people who seek to not, go along to get along.
But the question is, they're viewing it like, oh, it's the undocumented migrants that are rigging the system and not the 6 billionaire oligarchs that are sitting in the front row at the inauguration.
It's the unelected bureaucrats who are corrupting the system. And by the way, again, remember what he just said. It's not the oligarchs who own everything in America who are corrupting the system. It's the immigrants or the deep state bureaucrats. Again, the woke ideology is the Jewish question, but for modern American society, it is the Jewish question. When they're saying we need to get DEI posters off the wall, we need to get any evidence of DEI away from sight. There are literal government agents from Trump going through agencies, making sure there's no sign that racism is even acknowledged as a thing that ever existed in American history. They want to wipe history from this, okay? They're going through and raiding federal buildings, wiping any of our proof of racism ever happening. Like, that's what they're doing. It's not DEI, it's not wokeism. That's your labels for it. That's their Jewish question. But what they're doing is erasing these. They're banning books. They're banning them at they're banning books that are just anti-racism in general, with no other cause, in places like Florida and Oklahoma. But again, the same rhetoric. They're using the same rhetoric, but instead of Jewish, they're saying wokeism.
To me, that's the disconnect.
That's exactly right. And like the thing is that when we talk about solidarity, the reason why solidarity is,
if you think DEI is racist against racist, call into my show, please. If you really have that opinion, call into my show tomorrow. I'll take calls tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern. Please call into my show. Please call into my show.
When we build that is such an antidote to kleptocracy and corruption. I think something that...
No, Epoch, he doesn't need a CAT scan. He needs he probably just watches Tim Pool.
It's really important for people to understand. And that's something that I also think the left can do a better job at, is also explaining why this solidarity is important, not just on moral grounds, but this is our strategy for defeating the billionaire class, because they are going to say your wages are low because of an immigrant. And by the way, you're going to drive down car. Wait until there's no immigrants to do your roofing, to do agricultural work in the United States, and you're going to have some, like, I don't even know, some UCLA alum that's doing your vegetables.
Well,
they'll probably need to turn to prison labor, by the way. They're really looking to expand private prisons. So private prison contracts and stock is rising really high right now. They're looking to do more prison labor than ever before, which you can argue is a form of slavery, which it is. If you pay someone $2 a day to be a firefighter in California, for example, it basically is slavery. If you pay someone $2 a day to be to work in agriculture from a private prison, it is essentially a form of slavery by definition. Even if you say someone committed a crime to get there. But the big system they have now is if you say every illegal immigrant is illegal in the sense that they are a criminal and you want to put them in jail and say they have life in prison and now they have to work in camps and you have labor camps, you could be in a really bad place. But we're not that far from there. I want you to realize we're not far from having labor camps. I'm not going to say concentration because that's like a, mass murder, but labor camps for sure. We are close to that. Forced labor camps, sorry. We're pretty close to that.
Well, There are people here in this country who will do work for money that Americans won't do work for.
It's not indentured servitude. It's literal, just like forced labor. It's what they're asking for from the private prison industry.
Who are exploited by, the system.
They are exploited. They are absolutely exploited. But the thing is that when we allow ourselves to constantly be distracted by these culture wars around trans people, around, like, it's a new thing every day. But I think the answer isn't that we just let those people be attacked. It's that we say, what are you doing, man? Like, I think we need to make standing up for these folks just like such an afterthought that it's not even a debate. Like, we need to understand and see the bait for what it is, but we don't take the bait by letting those rights just erode and go by the wayside.
But how do you battle certain, like, the common sense? I'll give you an example. Like,
wait, where is that at, Joe Blow? You said that true rockstar girl. One of the first things Don the Con did this time around was axe ethics rules for lobbyists. Where is that, EO? Do you have the executive order somewhere? If you're in Discord, I would definitely love to see that. I want to get all the executive orders together because people are saying, like, Trump did so much, dude. He signed all the papers. All the papers, dude. You see how big the stack of papers? I don't know what they said. I can't read them, but, he did a lot of papers. He had to be doing something, bro. I don't know why the eggs are $10 now, but he did something.
Like when they say, oh, there's an undocumented
join
immigrant
Discord,
who has
Discord,
committed
by the way.
a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And common sense would tell you, yeah, that person has lost their ability to be here and should be sent back. And yet you would find there are some Democrats who would disagree with that. Or, isn't there another form of progressivism that is more muscular, that has a certain amount of common sense, law and order aspect to it that can be fashioned as a way forward?
Yeah.
That doesn't get saddled with some of these seemingly nonsensical positions.
Yeah. Well, let's take the Lake and Riley Act, for example, which just passed in the Senate, which is this kind of encapsulates a lot of what you just said. Lake and Riley Act, on its face, Republicans brought this and they say, well, if you are, by the way, Lake and Riley is a victim of a horrific crime, horrible murder by I believe an asylum seeker or an undocumented person.
Right. But apparently who had like a criminal record.
By the way, you can call someone a violent criminal and not call them an alien. You don't need to dehumanize entire groups of people to call one person bad, by the way. You could say that's an undocumented person who committed a crime. Not everyone needs to be a brutal, bloodthirsty, punitive Trump sexual. KP, that's how it sounds when Biden got in and gas went to $10. Dude, how Trump sexual are you? You're Biden phobic and Trump sexual. You're Trump sexual. You gotta be. You gotta be. Because I know you're not. I know you can see, because you're watching my stream. I know you saw the gas prices in the past 3 months, and we all know they weren't $10. What part of the country was at $10, by the way? And either way, our gas prices were always the lowest globally, coming off the pandemic. So your emotional Trump sexualism is not going to wait. I don't know if that's a word.
Yes,
who had committed crimes.
Now,
I just said I don't know if that's a word from a word I made up today. Nice.
Who had like a criminal record.
Yes,
who had committed crimes.
Now, first and foremost, her family explicitly asked that her name not be politicized or used or wielded in this way.
Republicans don't care.
Every time I see this, it's just so disgusting to me that they just trampled on this family's wishes and decided to do this. But anyways, so you have this act that's brought forth, and Republicans say, okay, well, this person, if you have a criminal record, if you've, sexually assaulted somebody, you should be deported. And so that's the guise of this bill, right? And they said, so that should be the law. Except that's not what's in this law, because that is existing U.S. law. It is existing U.S. law.
Why isn't it done then?
And well, I think there are individual cases where I'm not sure. But this is what the right does. They exploit these very narrow individual cases. But the existing law in the United States is that if you are undocumented and you commit a crime, you are put on priority number 1 for deportation. That is standing U.S. law.
And it's not like we don't deport a lot of people, even in Democratic administrations.
Right.
We deport a ton.
Now, here's what Lake and Riley does, actually, is that they use that guise to then dramatically erode constitutional rights in the United States tucked into that bill.
No due process then for someone who is
That's right. Seeker. So now in this bill, all you need to do is be accused of a crime. And you don't have to be fully undocumented. It works against dreamers too. So you could.
And by the way, remember when I said forced labor in private prisons? So if they accuse you of murder, okay, you don't have a due process. If you start eroding that right and it becomes legal precedent, if Congress gives guidance on that, if we start talking about what the legal canon is, you go to a really bad territory, especially when you have people seeing someone who's not white and saying, wow, that person looks like an immigrant terrorist. You know, that's not enough. And Trump says that too, because Trump is unironically one of the dumbest people to ever exist, bro. He's one of the dumbest people ever, bro. Like, he's actually one of the dumbest people. It's crazy. Oh, man.
You could be here. You could have lawful,
So they take a narrow common sense issue, and then what they do is they expand the margins out on it to things that would not be.
Yeah. This
common
is
sense. Okay.
this is Patriot Act all over again.
Right.
This is using this guise of national security to erode not just the civil rights of this population, but your civil rights too. And like, it makes us all, it's kind of like when they did these 100-mile border security zones, they're doing surveillance on everybody, on the vast majority of the United States, because most people, believe it or not, live within 100 miles of some kind of border, the southern border, the northern border, or both, either coast.
Oh, I got Delaware breathing down my neck over here.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're sending up my way.
And so like, this is the thing that we need to be aware of, but it's also something that you haven't heard this because Democrats are very scared on these kinds of issues. Democrats are vulnerable on issues of immigration. And so the response, instead of being more full-throated and telling people how they're being conned, is to kind of just like be quiet about it and to go along with it.
So let's take your energy. Let's take the passion that you have for these issues. And let's think about, because right now the Democrats are almost fully defined by their positions on Trump, as opposed to, people are thirsty for a leadership. And the Democrats, I think, have had a really difficult time responding to that thirst, responding to that action. So what is the process then?
So you take the other side's weakness, okay, and you exploit it in the same way that the right wing identified immigration and trans issues as the left's weakness. You take their weaknesses with corruption and you run on something aggressive. So paid family medical leave, higher taxes to fund it, union rights in general, trust busting, breaking up monopolies, data privacy with AI, regulating AI, share really scary images, not images, but just like make it clear that without regulating this AI, someone can generate an image of your child in compromised positions. And we don't want that. We do not want that. We want regulation for AI. We want to make sure it does not like overcome our ability to perceive what is reality and what is fake. We need to know some sense of shared reality in general. Like, campaign on things that are really going to hit hard against what the Republicans are going to do. Your electric bill is $37 this month. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Of redefining what this party is, what it represents moving forward. And are there leaders there? It is sclerotic. I mean, it is a party in real confusion. And I don't know, I can't put my finger on, it reminds me of the Republicans in 2012, where there was just, when Trump came into that first 2016 primary, I mean, he just.
Oh, you better not have gas heating, dude. If you have gas heating, $37 is normal. By the way, I put the Discord link in chat. Join Discord if you want to call into the show. I'll take call-ins tomorrow around 10 p.m. Eastern time. Call into the show tomorrow. If you want to donate to the show as well, the best way to do it is Joel Politics. Joel Politics. How it's spelled on the screen, just Droll Politics on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Really appreciate it. I need a tank of gas for tomorrow. Someone donated $10. I need like 15 or 20 more. So if you got any like money laying around, you want to donate to the stream, really appreciate it. Also, channel memberships. Become a channel member. Okay, you become green in the chat. We're gonna have a vote at 20,000 subs on what emotes to put for channel members. So 20,000 subs should come sometime in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, channel memberships are $3 a month. I made them cheap enough, so it's not super expensive, but $3 a month for channel memberships. Really appreciate all of those. It creates a good, stable base for my channel, especially with the rocky political environment that's coming up. If you want people like me, to continue speaking out about these things, and if you're new to my channel, by the way, if you're in chat, let me know if you're new. If you're in chat, let me know if you're new here. I want to know who's new off this stream, because this stream's really fun, because I don't need to argue with stupid people. I could just like vibe and react to a video every once in a while. But my normal call-ins are really fun. talking to median voters, and they're painful for me. So if you want me to keep doing that hard work of talking to median voters, taking live callers, please please consider becoming a channel member. Donate through Drolla Politics, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, or or do a super chat or something. Really appreciate it. Thank you, mods, as well. Thank you.
Just flicking his finger, not Jeb Bush. Yeah, nice.
It's regulated, then it's not actually AI, just machine learning. Yeah, bro. Banning AI from producing pictures of other people so you can't represent someone else's image so your grandma doesn't think it's you calling when a scammer FaceTimes them. That's apparently going to limit AI. By the way, China's highly regulated AI is already outperforming all of our billion-dollar AI in the US that's privatized. So there are ways to do this effectively. Stop being a kid brain. It's like I made Trump sexual, by the way, because I saw a post about bronze sexuals. And if you know what a bronze sexual is, a bronze sexual loves LeBron James. Like King James, you are my sunrise, my sunshine. You are my only sunshine. You know, King James, LeBron James. So I'm like bronze sexual. I mean, Trump sexual is really a good word because I was looking for something to call them because I don't like saying MAGA because it gives them too much credibility. They are Trump sexuals. It just works.
Boom, done.
Oh yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining me, new people.
Yeah.
And I think the Democrats are vulnerable to that. So what is the process of redefining and recapturing what this party is?
Well, I think we need a real agenda. If you've noticed, the Democratic Party has not really had a platform with any sort of new.
I have noticed.
Yeah, there's no platform. I mean, there's technically a platform that gets voted out. This is the crux of it. If you ask a working class American or just any normal American, what is a Democrat? What do they stand for? They will not really be able to give you a clear.
I agree with that point too, because although Trump gave no healthcare plan, I have concepts of a plan. It would have hit so much harder if Kamala Harris had a plan. It would have hit so much harder if Kamala's plan was more than just, by the way, I'm not going to ruin things like he is. He's going to tear it apart and not have a plan. But it would have been a lot stronger if Kamala Harris would have had a plan, to expand and make things better in a real pointed way. That would have helped. Or when Trump talks about the cats and the dogs, instead of laughing and being like, that's extreme, talk about extreme, you could have seemed angry about Trump not taking this seriously. He wants to be president, and he's like an old man watching television. You can say that, bro. Kamala, you can say that to Trump. Kamala fumbled so hard in that debate. Trump failed because of an all-time bad performance. The only one worse was Biden's. But Trump's overall terrible performance made Kamala look good, but she fumbled that debate terribly. Although she dominated Trump. It's not hard to dominate Trump. It's not hard to dominate Trump. But somehow Trump has had the affirmative action of presidential debates. I don't know.
Clear answer. And so our party needs a clear and strong agenda. I think one of the problems is that the internal incentives within the Democratic Party are quite contrary to a clear, full-throated agenda. And that's why I think you notice Biden on his way out, it was only on his way out that he was like, this country's controlled by oligarchs. We could have used that energy a couple years ago.
Well, I mean, what he did on the way out, I really thought it was incredibly disappointing. On the way out, he's like, we're controlled by oligarchs, women are people, and I'm going to make sure that my family has a life raft.
By the way, I do have 2 streams up at all times. So I have the horizontal stream, that's the full screen, but there's also a YouTube Shorts stream up, which is where most people hang out. So there's 400 to 500 or 600 people this entire stream in the YouTube Shorts. There's 10 in horizontal. So if you're in YouTube Shorts and you ever want to take a break, if you ever want to take a break from YouTube Shorts, you can go over to the horizontal. It's usually a lot more calm. You can just relax with people just chatting. But if you want to be in the really active chat, go to YouTube Shorts. Actually, wait, yeah, go from YouTube Shorts to the horizontal to be relaxed. Go from horizontal to YouTube Shorts if you want to enter the battleground and see what people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, boy, what and I have fondness for him.
Both of them are on the same channel.
Incredibly important to a bill that was very important to me that
Mm-hmm.
that went through. But I just thought, again,
and that's why I think you notice Biden on his way out, it was only on his way out that he was like, this country's controlled by oligarchs. We could have used that energy a couple years ago.
well, I mean, what he did on the way out, I really thought it was incredibly disappointing. On the way out, he's like, we're controlled by oligarchs, women are people, and I'm going to make sure that my family has a life raft.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, boy, what and I have fondness for him, and he was certainly incredibly important to
You've known this the whole time, Joe Biden, and you're just saying it
a
now?
bill that was very important to me that
Mhm.
that went through. But I just thought, again, you just made this whole thing look like a show, like a
Yeah.
performance, and that you've been not clear with us over 4 years. And on
And Biden also
your way out,
said,
you're just going to tell the truth, which is
Biden also said, I probably would have won this election if Kamala didn't drop out. I probably would have won this election. So Biden was pretty bitter at the end too. So I mean, Biden should get all the blame for this election. You know, Kamala should not get blamed. Kamala helped a lot, although she's not in my top 500 politicians. She did help a lot, coming in last second, taking this weight from everyone, giving hope to people, making sure the House and Senate weren't completely lost. They were not completely lost. We might be able to avoid like RFK or Tulsi at least, you know.
is our legal system doesn't serve anybody, and I'm just going to make sure my family's protected.
Yeah, and I think it's one of these things.
Dude, Kamala hopping in with 2 months left. Okay, after Biden led us to the edge of to the brink of collapse. You know, Kamala doing that was goated. I hope you understand that. Kamala was goated for doing that. The short campaign, all the enthusiasm, she was goated for stepping in and doing that. You don't realize how bad it would have been if Joe Biden would have stayed in.
Things where people, I do think that people want rule breakers in this moment.
Purposeful rule. I think
Purposeful
I don't think we're looking
not
for
like,
nihilists. I think we're
yeah,
looking for a purposeful recapturing of the thrust. Does it start, Congresswoman, with what you did, which is kind of a customer service? I think what the Democrats have lost is the reality of people's lives when you think about that cradle to grave journey and where the bottleneck pressures are, that weird working class, middle class squeeze of, I've worked really hard, I've saved some money, but now I got to blow most of it on my kids' college while my parents need health care and other things. And
Kamala Harris directly talked about this issue. She talked about the sandwich generation in literally every interview. Also, the media coverage around Kamala sucked too. She did talk about these policies. Child tax credit, expanding Medicare to cover at-home costs, expanding Medicare to cover more prescriptions to negotiate prices. Kamala did talk about the sandwich generation, this exact issue John is bringing up here. But the media decided not to cover it. So that's why you need someone who's pissed off at the world, who's going to scream it into the loudest megaphone at all times to get free media. You need someone who's going to be ruthless in pushing that method, that message and that method. You're not going to have just like a media. We already know the media is not going to give the messaging. They're not going to do it. They're captured. They're all captured by money. Okay? You need earned media. You need to be the show. You need to be an honest show. You don't need to be the show like Trump's reality television show. But the best way to break a reality TV show is to show the actual reality. Show the show behind the curtains. Take that mask off. I want to see what's under them achievements. Why believe you? You never gave us nothing to believe in. You know that song? You know what song that's from? Dear Adonis. Dear Adonis. Remember that song? Does anyone know that one? Your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get in a cell for the rest of their lives. You know that song?
those costs are soaring, and that's going to put me under.
He got sex offenders at OVO that he keeps in a monthly allowance, and that child should never be compromised, but he's keeping that child around him. And we got to raise our daughters, knowing there's predators like him lurking. If a rap battle, he should die, so all these women can live with a purpose.
By the time I get up to that age, when I'm 60 years old, isn't that journey,
you know that song,
the
right?
absolute priority of any government that's going to listen to the discomfort of the way its people live?
Of course. Of course. This is where I think when you talk about responsiveness, it's that a lot of people propose these things that kind of nibble around the edges, but don't actually structurally address the problem. And
Yeah,
so
Kendrick.
they'll say, okay, we're going to do a
Good
little
job.
bit of Medicare reform here.
Good job.
That doesn't fix the problem.
Grams.
That doesn't fix the fact that
He's just reading the lyrics, not memorized. Brother, trust me, I am the definition of dorky, hyper obsessed with rap white kid, okay? I'm the definition. I memorize all the lyrics.
you aren't paid a living wage from the jump, from the time you're 15 years old getting your first job at McDonald's or Baskin Robbins or wherever it is. Like, we don't have money. We need money. So that doesn't solve that problem. It doesn't solve the fact that the price of college is just skyrocketing year over year, and it's increasingly becoming something that's only accessible for
On
more and more
vinyl?
elite people as time goes on. It doesn't fix the fact that then in order to that degree, yes, it still does give you a ticket to a more privileged class. I know there's a lot of discussion about is college worth, and also the trades too. The trades are incredibly important as well. But like these are still like,
I can't stand it when people bring up Megan Thee Stallion, bro. It's just sexism. Unironically, I don't usually say this stuff. I don't usually say this. But when they bring up Megan Thee Stallion, okay? That's sexism. All right? It just is. They never bring up Eminem for Kamala. Also, Donald Trump had Fabio Foreign and Lil Pump. Donald Trump had Lil Pump on stage, bro. And you talk about Megan Thee Stallion, bro. Trump had Lil Pump on stage. Kamala had Eminem. Trump had Lil Pump. Like, that's enough. That's enough to say what's going on, bro.
like kind of tickets to a more so people are getting left behind at every single stage of life. And what
Someone said Megan Thee Stallion's a hoe. Well, you would not know what that even is. You have not been within 20 feet of a woman, okay? And just for that, you're gonna get put in timeout, and you're gonna like it. Here you go.
the Democratic response has been is like, oh, let's expand Pell Grants a little bit, and no, we need tuition.
Or even, the Obamacare, which is in many ways just a giant benefit to insurance companies, which
That's
is the government
exactly
just
it.
saying, we'll give you a little bit of access to this shitty system that you haven't been satisfied with, and we'll just make sure that to get an insurance company to take
But no, the ACA was the best thing of all time. Yeah, Rockstar Girl is in the lonely chat. She's in the regular chat now.
you on if you're considered a
Yeah.
poor risk. We'll just pay them
At
to
the
do
end of
that.
the day, like, and the stuff that's crazy to me is like the answers are stuff like we're just asking for things that our parents and our grandparents had, like tuition-free public colleges and universities, not new.
That's where my parents went to City College in New York. It was
Yeah.
free. This was the 1940s. It's free.
That's right. We should be lowering the age of Medicare. I want the age of Medicare to be lowered to 0, but even you bring it to 50 and you will be able to make tons and tons of people far more secure in their lives, which by the way, helps their kids because you're working your ass off to get your parents health care because they're not 65 yet.
Now, to make that argument, is job one then to be honest about the deliverables that a government can offer, or about how we need to almost, when they talk about moonshots, we need a bureaucratic moonshot, because in truth, the way that the government operates right now is counterintuitive and counterfactual to all best practices. And there is such opportunity here, Congresswoman. I feel it in your voice.
If you go on the Discord, go on the verification tab. There's a verification tab you need to verify. Then you get a verified role, and you can choose your ideology. So join Discord, go on verification, verify with the CAPTCHA or whatever it's called, choose your role, and you should be in.
I feel the frustration that you feel being down there. I've experienced it myself. I have to tell you, like, when we were down there trying to do legislation, I was at times just stunned at what you had talked about earlier, which is that we have to go through regular order. And it was interesting to me, what I discovered to some respect is, and this is a terrible thing to probably say, but Congress can be bullied.
Yeah, no.
By righteousness and by doing the right thing. Like, as long as they feel like you're not going to go away and you're going to keep that light on them, Mitch McConnell can be.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's a very strange feeling to have that.
And also people are very responsive to incentives. I think sometimes people are rightfully sometimes frustrated at like some of the creep towards pro, business and capital and this turn away from labor.
And does this system require an entrenched underclass to work properly? The way
I just gave you the verified role, Jake. I'll fix it tomorrow. I don't know what's happening.
I've always looked at it is, government can be an effective check. Capitalism is the system we've chosen, and it certainly is a wealth generation system, but it also has collateral damage along the way. It has destructive things that are built into its function, and maybe government's there, not necessarily to change that system of wealth generation, but to ameliorate the collateral damage and allow more people into that fire hose of wealth generation.
Yeah.
Bro, if you believe Lil Pump actually helps to catch predators, are you 12? Are you 11? Are you 10, 9, 8? Are you're a child. You have to be a legal child. There's no way.
I think That's a very valid question. I think depending on your view of the world, it is government either exists to enforce that system and then try to kind of soften the consequences of it. That is defined by the people that we send to represent us, that outcome. But I do think that people respond, and elected officials respond to those incentives, as you mentioned. Not only are they, responsive to sunlight. Money isn't the only rule here. At the end of the day, people who are in Congress want to return to Congress, and the reason it's true. And then the reason that the Republicans have so much enforcement is because they're more scared of a primary than they are of a general election for multiple reasons. One, their base is highly mobilized. Their base is highly engaged. And so if you can survive a primary, their theory of change is that you will be able, for the most part, be able to survive a general.
It is true, though. Like, democracy does work. If anyone tells you democracy does not work or has not worked, they're lying to you. Is there propaganda to get people to vote in certain ways and to get politicians to lie to people? Sure. But democracy does work. If the entire American population wanted Medicare for all, they would get it. They would get Medicare for all pretty quickly, actually. It does work. It's being proved right now. We're voting away the Constitution right now. America is. Countries that had universal health care or that have universal health care now did exist before having universal health care, believe it or not, and they got it through democracy. So that system is what we need. The place we're going right now, we need to reject it. We need to establish democracy again, and we need to work off that. And we need to educate the population as much as possible. Oh, God.
Election, which is I would say true for maybe 90 to 95% of all seats in Congress. There are very, very few swing seats left in America. Republicans and this whole system has been gerrymandered that the number of swing seats is so low. So for everybody else, your only election is a primary election. Billionaires fuel and they fund primary challenges. Trump openly talks about that to keep everyone in line. But we all do have a choice. And the more choices we have that are more representative of the changes we want to see, the better off we all are. And we're going to lose a bunch, but we're also going to win a bunch too. And I will always, always, always believe that it was always worth trying.
No, you'll never get Medicare for all, not if insurance companies get their way. If the American population focuses on pronouns. If they get mad about pronouns, we're going to fight those battles. If we can't even establish just like general medical science, no one's gonna like reform the medical healthcare system. The insurance companies are not that powerful. They are powerful, but they are not that powerful. An educated population is the biggest issue. If our population was voting in that direction, it'd be done with. I guarantee you. That's the biggest hurdle.
And in fact, it's so important that we don't give up because people do not understand. No, even if you don't see a way. Because ways emerge, moments emerge. I was not supposed to get elected to Congress by any stretch of the imagination. I was insane.
You rarely hear that from a congressional leader. I was insane.
No, I mean, it's not just a cute story. I was wiping down a bar and asking people to vote for me. It wasn't like a summer job I had once. I was not supposed to win. The guy I was running against spent $3 million against me. I was getting like $2 in my paycheck once a week because I was working off tips and they take it all out. But things happen in America. Right. This is still a place of possibility.
So the promise of the possible, and that's what gives you.
You know what? I would love to run AOC, bro. Run AOC. Let Donald Trump with his little baby hands, his little lotion Trump sexual hands, let him call AOC a dumb bartender. Call her that. All right, big billionaire, big Trump sexual, call her a dumb bartender. I want the elites in society to call her a dumb idiot that doesn't know what she's talking about because she started off in the working class. And she somehow won a race being outspent by millions of dollars. I want her to be attacked by the richest men in society on that basis while she talks about issues that affect the American people. I want to see that someday. I do want to see that.
That feeling that the fight can pay off. But I think for the most part, that fight is you have no other option. We always talk about that idea, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. But what they don't tell you is it doesn't bend by natural forces. Gravity is not what bends that. And there are people who are bending that fucker back the other way. And it is effort it is work. And I thank you so much for spending the time with us today. And it's really been a wonderfully invigorating conversation for me to hear your passion and to hear the fight that you have and the direction you're going in. I guess the final question is, how do you feel about the confidence that the Democrats are being A, honest with themselves about where they actually are, and B, have the vision and wherewithal to begin that process that you're talking about redefining it in a way that's more responsive to the people they purport to represent?
Yeah. I mean, I have a weird relationship with the Democratic Party. To say
Friends
the
with
least.
benefit. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. It's
exactly.
fine. Yeah.
It's kind
You lost me with the baby hands comment, bro. Go cry in a bucket. That's all. That's all. That's all. Go cry. Go cry. Cry. Wah wah wah. Wah wah wah. I'm the baby. Brand new whip, got no keys.
of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? And I think the foot out that I
It just
have
showed that you're a
is
child.
the foot.
Imagine if you, dude, you guys are Trump sexuals, bro. If Trump said that to someone about small hands, because he did, because he has said that on the, you would be all Trump sexual about it. Because I say about his hands, it's an issue. But if Trump tells someone else that their hands are small, then you got to be all Trump sexual about it. Because you gotta bring your Trump sexuality into everything, bro. Why do you bring your Trump sexuality into everything? Why do you keep shoving your Trump sexuality in my face, in all of our faces? Leave that Trump sexuality in the bedroom, bro. Shut up.
Foot that is very attuned to people, and the foot in that I have is, it's still the coalition that helps people, in my view, and it's a coalition that we all have to be part of, and so to me, I do think there's, as you mentioned, I do think that there is a little bit of this lost at sea moment happening.
Ooh, the guy that called me a child says you have sexual dysfunctions. Okay, that's a robot. That's a bot. No human being's that stupid. We gotta ban the bots from our server. Goodbye, the Tim. I'm not trusting the Russian propagandists and the Chinese propagandists in my chat. You go have fun.
But as you said, I see that not as a reason for despair. I see it as a tremendous opportunity. And I've been
Trump
a
sexual.
wrecking
Okay.
ball in the past. And
All right. AOC, the Queen speaking.
I do think that there is a little bit of this lost at sea moment happening. But as you said, I see that not as a reason for despair. I see it as a tremendous opportunity. And I've been a wrecking ball in the past. And I am also, I think that's one of the tools. So I believe in the toolbox, right? And sometimes you need a wrecking ball. Sometimes you need a hammer. Sometimes you need a wrench. And I think in this moment, it's a tremendous window of opportunity for efficacy.
Yes.
Whoever is most effective is where the momentum is going to go.
I agree, bro. I just made a TikTok about this today, bro, about being effective.
And so
I love AOC,
for
man.
me, I'm just trying shit out. Like, I'm just trying shit out. And I'm just in the batting cage and I'm just waiting for a dinger.
Right.
And then
I got to tell you, there's so many metaphors. I don't even know what to do anymore. I've got a toolkit and a batting cage, and I don't know what the hell's happening.
That's what it's going to take, just to throw in everything at
all those different things. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, New York's 14th district. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again soon.
Totally. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
You know what? Thank you guys for hanging out. This was a good palate cleanser, I feel like, from my usual content. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. This also proves that we can get it also proves that we can get good viewership without needing to take dumb phone calls the entire time too. So we can get good viewership regardless. We could react to a video, react to a debate, do that kind of stuff. So I am happy to know that, because doing call-ins every single night has been destroying my brain. So I can only do call-ins on nights where I can definitely handle doing random call-ins, because they get kind of wild. We got to do some more palate cleansing streams every once in a while. Why are you guys weird? Why are you so weird? Meme Nation, I don't care because I'm not American. Why are you commenting? Like, this is the person that just said that, by the way. I don't care because I'm not American. This is that person. I like this. I do like this. Is that you playing? You're pretty good. Never mind. Wait, you gonna see that comment? what are you watching? Oh, you got this. Come on, dude. You can see that train from a while. Like, you can see the train right now, dude. It's 1, 2. That's like two or 3 seconds of reaction time. You gotta be quicker than that, bro. Is this like a speed run of some? Oh, this is on a website. I mean, good. Good try. Good try. Just spent an hour watching this. I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you guys for hanging out. Really do appreciate it. I got a lot of subscribers tonight. Tell you what, that really helps, man. That helps the channel. Random stream when I can't sleep, dude. Watching a pod, dude. I love that, dude. I love it. I gotta make my you get discouraged. It's depressing. Oh, I didn't see your comment earlier. Racing, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're still here. Is Racing still here? They left the super chat earlier. I didn't see it. Sorry. Do you get discouraged? It's depressing. I mean, yeah. The conversations I have with people are literally like, they just don't want to believe in reality. Because if they believe in reality, they have to say that their beliefs are wrong. So like, they're so tied, their identity is so tied to Trump. For them to say Trump did something wrong, they need to completely just like admit a personal failing in their minds. In their minds, they're very insecure about it. That's why they always say like liberals think they're better than me, because it's really just a big insecurity issue too. Oh man. So like the whole thing where you say like Trump supporters, you fell for it again. And when we make fun of them, I make fun of people who are like very hard lined. Like, so for example, if they defend like the cop beaters, if they defend the police beaters, the brutal traitors to America from January 6th, okay? The violent criminals. If they defend them in a very hard manner, then I'll make fun of them. But in general, saying like, haha, Trump lied again, you guys suck, that kind of stuff, it actually hurts the chance that they'll come over to you, because if they do move their positions, and this goes for everything, relationships, friendships, anything, you want people to feel like they are making the decision themselves to change their opinions. You don't want them to think or even feel like you're having an influence. So plant seeds of information, extend your hand as much as possible, talk to your neighbors before the propaganda gets to them first. You know, we got to make sure we do these things. Getting discouraged is all right, but you have to also understand, you know, take your mental health days, disconnect, don't engage with it in the worst way possible. So like social media is the worst way to engage, obviously, especially X. Download Blue Sky if you need to. But just in general, you know, take your breaks, but also realize you cannot disengage completely. And you need to make other people understand that as well, as much as you can. If we disengage now, the doomsday scenario will be likely, where we live in an authoritarian surveillance state the rest of our existence. Which isn't really like, you know, it's not what we want. I don't want to live in an AI hellscape working for Meta and Amazon and tracked every second of my life through facial recognition technology like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk want. So defeating this Trump administration and their propaganda is going to be hard, but we need to do it somehow. And it takes everyone. Everyone is media. Everything you share, when you subscribe to my channel, the only way to stop fascism is to give $3 a month to me. You know, if you give $3 a month to my channel as a channel member, then that will defeat fascism, you know? Or if you donate to my Venmo at Jola Politics, JOLAHPOLITICS. Wait, ICS. Did I say it right? Jola Politics. On Venmo, you see it down there. On Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, Jola Politics. Okay, if you donate money to there, then I still don't have a Zelle. I'll make a Zelle by Monday. By Monday, I'll make a Zelle. Promise. Thank you for asking again. Trump will save you. Don't fight America. Bro, I understand that you're a Trump sexual, but don't push that on me. I'm not glitching. I'm being sarcastic. Good stream. Good stream. Fun stream. We were watching Mommy AOC talk. I mean... Okay, maybe that comment was me getting tired. Thank you guys for watching. Informing without ridiculing. There is a place to ridicule. So for example, like you can ridicule Charlie Kirk, make fun of him, call him a Trump sexual, and then say you're lying to the American people. You think the American people are dumb, you're manipulating them. But you don't want to say that all Trump supporters are dumb or whatever. Or all Trump supporters fell for it. No, they were lied to. They were lied to. And we will work to restore their faith in a different system that's not based on just anger. They were lied to. There's still a place to be hard, though. There's still a place to push back in a hard manner. I don't think we should stop like insulting people or being funny or being aggressive. There's a place for that. We got to be strong. If AOC can continue to sound reasonable, I mean, she sounded like that for a few years now. She's been pretty just focused on organizing with power rather than focusing just on whatever it's called. Oh, you can't press a button. Oh, Jade, I didn't see that until today when you pinged me. Crap. It takes 10 minutes to verify. That's why. That's what's been happening. I'm probably going to change the verification system for Discord again and change it to a different mechanism for doing that. Okay. Is $10 if you get 2 gallons? No, there's like 3 gallons for $10. Alright, thank you guys. Gotta go to bed now. Join the Discord. It might take time to verify. I think there's a timer on it. I'll have to fix it tomorrow. True, Jeremy. True. Trump is transgender? No. Trump sexual is when you're in love with Trump. Like, I'm frankly surprised I have not heard that more. Thank you, Jess. Please leave this. Please leave this country. I'm telling you, that's my new thing. Trump sexual. It's going mainstream. I will not stop until I hear people say that. Okay? Because it's much funnier than MAGA. Trump sexual is hilarious, bro. Like, bro, I think it is funny. Like, bro, leave your Trump sexuality in your bedroom, bro. Stop bringing your Trump sexuality and forcing it into our faces every day, bro. We get it. We get it. You're a Trump sexual. We get it. You're Trump sexual. Okay? I don't want to see your flag. We get it. You're Trump sexual. We don't got to see your pride flag. Okay? We get it. We get it. Make sure you credit me. Everyone needs to know where it came from first. It started with troll politics. Trump sexual. We're not me. I made the term. I'm not a Trump sexual. Yeah, and they bring up sex all the time. They bring up body parts and everything. Why are you gay? Get over it, dude. No, I'm not the Trump sexual here, bro. You're a what? What does that word mean? You're a hockey puck? What does that mean, dude? Yeah, have a good night. Here's the Discord again. I have to set up my bot too for the chat. I'm not sexualizing another man, bro. You realize that there's representatives calling him daddy on TV every day. Like Charlie Kirk called him daddy. Byron Donalds called him daddy. The really racist Hollywood guy called him daddy. What's his name again? What's the really racist Hollywood guy? Mel Gibson called him daddy on television. They all call him daddy, bro. Someone else said it feels like daddy came home and took his belt off, and I feel safe now. Like, that's the most Trump sexual thing I've ever seen. Like, yeah, daddy's home. Yeah. That's because you sound like a woman? No. Okay, you think I sound like a woman, okay? Because your daddy is Trump. So any other voice that's not your daddy sounds like a woman to you, because you're searching for your mom, like you're a mama, like you're a baby bird looking for your mama bird to feed you. So when you hear any other voice, you think it's like a, you know, feminine quality, because your daddy's already there, but your mama left. You know what I mean? Melania doesn't talk much. So you need another, you know. And there's no like, yeah. See, KP's weird. Because obviously when I say Trump sexual, I'm just saying like you're in love with him. I'm not saying anything else about it. But you guys are weird. Alright, let's do this real quick. Put user in timeout. Put user in timeout. Put user in timeout. Put user in put user in timeout. Put user in timeout. Put user in timeout. Trump sexual. Yeah, Trump getting reelected, not too good. Have a good night. Have a good night. So all the MAGA males are trans now? No, they're Trump sexuals. Get it right. God. If you say the wrong wording, the Trump sexuals might get mad at you and start asking for you to be deported. For you to be deported, dude. If you call them the wrong pronouns, the Trump sexuals tell you you should be deported and face a military tribunal. They're really serious about their wording, bro. The Trump sexuals, bro. You got to call them daddy, or they'll threaten military tribunals. They're serious about this, bro. Oh, the executive order? Okay. I agree. Bro, Miguel, go to sleep, bro. Daddy's home. Bro, you're a Trump sexual. Thank you for sharing your pride. Trump sexual. Dude, we're starting a movement, bro. If I don't see a big account saying Trump sexual by next week, I failed. Okay? I have an incredible jawline, by the way. Just so you know. All right, good night. 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 It's so hard to say goodbye. You hang up first. You hang up first, guys. You know, it's actually gay to not go bald, bro. It's actually gay to not go bald. What are you saying, Miguel? 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 Miguel. Michael. Miguel. Band. Are we on a loop? Yeah. I'm gay? Okay. That's what people said when Biden got in office, when he made it illegal to be straight. It was illegal to be straight under Biden. This is live. I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed, I promise. It's just hard to say goodbye. It's hard to say goodbye, dude. It's hard to say goodbye. It's hard to hang up first. It's hard to hang up first. I'm just saying. Yeah. Time is a circle, I agree. Discord.
Narrator window.
Whoops.
Skip for now.
What?
Button. New natural voices are available. Narrator alert.
Oh, I
Scan.
just did something to my computer. That's not good.
Settings 20
Spam
settings
keys
window.
did something.
Choose where to play sound. Scan off. Speakers. Radio button. Non-selected.
No.
Selected.
No, I turned on my voiceover.
Speakers. Button.
How do you turn
3
this
of
off?
speakers. Radio
No.
button.
How do you turn this
Non-selected.
off?
Select OBS 30.2. Set
Stop.
result. Settings. Scan. All changes saved.
How do you turn off voiceover on Windows?
Old window. Audio mixer window. Mute desktop audio checkbox unchecked.
How do you
Scan.
How do you turn off the voiceover, dude? Oh, there we go. Then okay.
OBS 30. Exiting narrator.
Okay. We're safe. Okay. Voice of God. Alright, good night, guys. Sterlo, if you ask if we're live again, I'm gonna Discord. Okay, good night. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, dude. Woohoo! Hey, Mickey! Mickey! Woohoo! Donald Trump's a dumbass! Woohoo! Peace. My fellow sister. I had to hit the live button. Sterlo is just discovering streaming, apparently, for Sterlo. Alright, we're ending it now, though. Good night, good night. My spoon hit the... You're over here snacking. Alright, see you.